Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good. I am Vishaliki Khan and we are discussing the VLSI technology. Today in the VLSI technology we are going to start a new topic, that is a photolithography process. This photolithography process is the really important topic in the IC manufacturing, or it is the most important process I can say. Why it is the most important process? Because this process is the time consuming process. Also the output wafer characteristics depend upon this process. Okay, so we have to understand the photolithography process in the great detail, and this is the reason we will be spending 5 to 6 lectures on this process itself. I hope you will be getting a lot of new information and you will be finding these lectures really informative. So let's start with the photolithography process, and let me tell you, we will be starting this topic with the basics itself, and gradually I will be moving to the advanced topics in this photolithography process. So first of all, I must tell you what are the objectives that I am going to follow throughout this 4 to 5 lectures for the photolithography process. First of all, we will be listing the 4 components of the photoresist, and in this lecture itself we will be listing what are the 4 components that makes the photoresist. Then we will be describing the difference between the positive photoresist and the negative photoresist, or we will be seeing the different types of photolithography. Okay, then we will be seeing the full photolithography process sequence. Okay, then we will be discussing about the alignment and the exposure systems. Okay, this is a very important part for the photolithography process and we have a separate lecture for this. Then we will be describing the wafer movement in the track stepper integrated system, or I can say we will be going to discuss the track stepper integrated system in detail. Then we will be explaining the relationship of resolution and depth of focus to wavelength and the numerical aperture for optical photolithography. So this is a separate topic, optical photolithography, and we will be discussing the relationship of resolution and depth of focus to wavelength and numerical aperture to discuss the optical photolithography itself. So first of all, what is photolithography? Photolithography is actually the combination of a lot of processes itself. Okay, so here in the first step what we are doing, we are having the temporary coating of photoresist on our wafer surface. Okay, with the help of this coating of the photoresist and the properties of the photoresist, that it will be changing its internal structure on the exposure of light, we are making the designs or the patterns on the wafer. Okay, so how we are making the patterns or designs on the wafer? We are removing the photoresist from the particular areas where its properties has changed. Okay, so it is the most important process in the IC fabrication. Okay, so we will be discussing about it in detail because 40 to 50% of total wafer processing time is devoted in the photolithography process, as I have already told you. It determines the minimum feature size. Okay, the length of the mask will be determining what is the length of my basic component, that is the transistor or MOSFET. So if my transistor or MOSFET is small, the feature size is small. Okay, that depends upon the mask, and the mask depends upon the photolithography process, and this is the reason I can say photolithography process is a really important process. Now coming to the applications of the photolithography process. Its main application is in IC patterning process. As I have already told you, we can make the patterns on the wafer or we can make the mask with the help of photoresist. Okay, we have some other applications like we can make the printed electronic board, and then we can make the name plates, printer plates, and things like that. So I hope now you understood the various application of this process. Now coming to the IC fabrication process. So we have the electronic beam or the photo beam. Okay, so we have the electronic or photo beam over here. We have the electronic design automation. Okay, we have some design, we have automated the manufacturing of this design, and with the help of this design, whatever patterns we are having on the design, that patterns we are transferring to the wafer, okay, or the photoresist which is present on the wafer. So I will be making mask or reticles on the photoresist. So this photoresist will be having masks now. Then we will be using the ion implantation process, or I can use the diffusion process also. Now if I have the mask means openings. Now with the help of openings I can make the doped region, okay, and for the doping I will be using the ion implantation. Okay, so now if I have to remove the photoresist whose properties have changed, I will be using the etching process. Okay, after etching I will be having the bare substrate, and on the bare substrate I will be using either the ion implantation process or the diffusion process, and I will be making the mask, and with the help of this ion implantation process I will be making the doped region, and this is how we make the final chip. Okay, so PR stands here for the photoresist, EDS stands for electronic design automation. Now what is the IC processing flow? I have shown this chart to you various times. Now here we are going to see various steps over here. We have already discussed about the materials, we have discussed about the silicon or the germanium and its materialistic properties. Okay, I have told you that I require a design. Okay, so I can make it automated, or I can make the design by the manual designing also. So now here I have a design. I will be making the mask with this design. Now you must be confused how I will be making the mask. In a separate lecture we are going to discuss about this as well. Okay, so now this mask and design are fed to the photolithography part. Okay, so here we have the photolithography part. Here we are giving this mask and IC designing. So now we have the wafers. Wafers are went to the thermal processes. So in the thermal processes I have already told you the oxidation process, and now after the oxidation process we are doing the photolithography process. Now in the photolithography process we have a mask. Now after that we have the photoresist strip. So after this photolithography process I have to remove the photoresist where its property has changed. Now I will be using the photoresist stripping process. Okay, now we will be etching the photoresist, okay, from where we don't require it, or from where I want to make a narrow opening. So here we are etching the photoresist, and after that we will be moving towards the further processes. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks in the IC processing flow is devoted entirely to the photolithography process, and this is the importance of this process. Okay, this process is really important to us. So we have to discuss about all of these blocks, okay, in this process. Now coming to the requirements. What are the requirements we have in this process? First of all, we require high resolution. The mask that we are making, it should have the very high resolution. Okay, then only we can have the proper mask and the proper doped region. Okay, this is the reason we are having a proper understanding about the photolithography process. Then we have the high photoresist sensitivity. What does this mean? If the photoresist is sensitive, if I am putting the light on the photoresist, its property will change very easily. Okay, if it is not sensitive, its property will not change. Okay, so I can say the photoresist must be having high sensitivity. Then only we will be having a great photolithography process. Then we can have the precision alignment. The alignment should be very precise. Okay, the mask that we want to make and the mask that we are providing externally, that should be very precisely aligned. Okay, then we have the precise process parameters control. So whatever parameters that we will be discussing in this photolithography process, we will be seeing that we are controlling them precisely. Then we have low defect density. Defects are not allowed. So we should clean the wafer, then only we should move towards the photolithography process, so that we should not have any type of contaminant particles. Now coming to the photoresist. What is photoresist? Photoresist is a material whose properties are changing with respect to light. Okay, so I can say it is a photosensitive material. Okay, it is temporarily coated on the wafer surface. I have the photoresist, I temporarily coat it on the wafer surface, then I transfer the design which I have on the mask through the exposure of the light on the wafer. So this is the actual process. So if I have this photolithography process, I am transferring my design with this photolithography process. This process is very similar to the photosensitive coating on the film for the camera. Like if you must have seen the negative of the camera films that we have, the negatives are photosensitive, and this is the reason when we want to develop actual picture from the negatives. So what we do, we take the negatives, the photo negatives, and then what we do, from the photo negatives we are exposing light, and with the help of light exposure I will be making the actual photograph. So the photo negatives are carrying the actual information which we will be getting with the help of the exposure of light. So I hope now you understood it. Now we have two types of photoresist. First is negative photoresist and second is positive photoresist. So be careful about these two types of photoresists. A lot of people get confused and they switch both of them. So negative photoresist becomes insoluble after exposure, or its internal properties makes it very hard if I have the light falling on it. So if I have a surface here and if I am falling the light over this surface and we have photoresist here, the photoresist properties will be making it very thick, okay, or very hard as well. So now if I talk about positive photoresist, the positive photoresist is the opposite. If I am falling light on it, it will become soluble. Okay, so this is how both are different. So when developed, the unexposed parts will be dissolved, because the unexposed part in the negative photoresist are the softened parts, okay, that we can remove. The hardened out part we cannot remove. In the positive photoresist, when we develop it, the exposed parts will be dissolved. Okay, the negative photoresist is actually cheaper, and the positive photoresist will be getting me the better resolution. Okay, so now negative and the positive photoresist. You can see the difference with the help of this diagram. So now here we have a substrate. On the substrate we will be making a photoresist coating. Okay, so this is the photoresist coating over here. Now this is my mask. Okay, the black part is the mask here. From the black part I will not be transferring the light. Okay, so black part is stopping the light, and whenever we don't have the mask, the light will fall on the photoresist. So here the light is falling on the photoresist, and here the light is not falling on the photoresist. In the negative photoresist, what I said, where the light is falling, it will be becoming harder. So this portion will become harder in the negative photoresist, and I will remove the masked out portions in the negative photoresist. You can see I have removed the masked out portions in the negative photoresist. So this process is very simple. If I want N-type doped region, the P-type substrate, what I will be doing, I will be making the mask on that particular region only. If I make the mask on the particular region, what would happen? So that mask will be stopping the light from reaching the photoresist, and this is how the photoresist will not get hardened and we can easily remove the photoresist. So if I have removed the photoresist here, from here I can make the doped region. Okay, this is the bare substrate here, and I can make the doped region from here. This is actually window like opening. Okay, so from this window I can make any type of dope region, either N type or P type, both I can make. Okay, so now here if I have the positive photoresist, the positive photoresist will be making the photoresist dissolved, or it will be making the photoresist soluble on the exposure of light. So now when the light is falling, so here you can see light is falling on this green region, so this green region will become soluble and we can easily remove the green region, and this is how we will be getting a very high resolution in the positive photoresist. Again I am telling you, negative photoresist is cheaper. Now coming to the photoresist chemistry. This process started with the printed circuit board designing. It was adapted in the 1950s in the semiconductor industry, and it is critical for the patterning or the masking processes. We can have two types. We have already discussed them, negative and positive photoresist. So the composition, I have already told you, we are going to discuss the four components of the photoresist that are polymer, solvent, sensitizers and additives. First of all, what is polymer? Polymer is a solid organic material inside the photoresist which transfer design patterns on the wafer surface. What happens to the polymer? Polymer changes its solubility due to photochemical reaction when the UV light is exposed on it. So if we have the positive photoresist will be making the polymer from insoluble to the soluble. In the negative photoresist, the polymer is changing from soluble to insoluble. So I have already told you about these things. So mainly the positive and the negative photoresist depends and differs upon the polymer type. Okay, now we have the solvent. What is solvent? As the name suggests, solvent is dissolving something. What it dissolves? It dissolves the polymers into the liquid, and this is the reason the photoresist is a semi-liquid type of material. So it allows the application of thin photoresist layer by the spinner. So spinner we use in the photolithography process. I will be showing you how exactly we use the spinner for the photoresist coating. It's a liquid type of material, and with the help of spinner it can evenly spread on the surface of the wafer. Now we have the sensitizers. Sensitizers controls or it will modify the photochemical reactions of the resist during the exposure. Sensitizer words is related to the sensitivity. Okay, so it is increasing the sensitivity of the photoresist. If I am falling the light on the photoresist, its property will change, but how fast its property will change, it depends upon the sensitizers. We can use the high quality sensitizers and we can change the properties of the photoresist on the exposure of light very quickly. As I told you, a lot of time is devoted in the photolithography process itself. If I am using sensitizers, this photolithography process will be becoming faster, and this is how we can reduce the IC manufacturing time itself. So sensitizers are really important component of the photolithography process. It actually determines actual exposure time as well as the intensity. If I want to reduce the exposure time and the light intensity that I am falling on the wafer, I have to increase the sensitivity, and then I have to add on a better sensitizers into the photoresist. Then we have the additives. Additives, as the name suggests, it is some additional material. So we have various added chemicals to achieve the desired process results. Okay, such as we are adding dyes to reduce the reflection. So sometimes what happens, if I have the photoresist, the light falls on it but it reflects. Okay, so the properties of the photoresist are not changed. I want the light to be absorbed inside the photoresist, and for that I will be using the various additives like dyes. So these are the references. I hope you like this session, and if you have further queries you can reach out and you can find out these books. These are the really amazing books, and these books contain the detailed discussion about this topic. If I have missed something, do let me know in the comment, and if you are Still not clear about anything? Again, you can put the doubt in the comment or you can reach out to me. I will be happy to help you. I hope you like this session. If you like it, please push the like button, subscribe to the channel and also share it with your friends. Thank you so much.